Bueno, buenas tardes. Good afternoon. My name is Anton Leis. I'm the CEO of the Spanish Development Agency. Thank you for coming to this event. The Minister of Foreign Affairs of Spain, José Manuel Álvarez, and the Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs from Luxembourg, Xavier Bettel, will be with us, together with Peter Sands, CEO of the Global Fund for AIDS, Malaria and Tuberculosis, to announce the most recent pledges from these countries. Ministers, Minister Álvarez will speak first, followed by Deputy Prime Minister Xavier Bettel.
Muchas gracias, Anton Leis, el director de la Agencia Española de Cooperación Internacional para el Desarrollo y una parte muy importante de este acto y de la cooperación española. Y muchas gracias a la prensa por cubrir este acto en el cual vamos a mostrar el compromiso de España y de la comunidad internacional con el Fondo contra el SIDA, la tuberculosis y la malaria. Acabamos de hacer un anuncio de 145 millones de euros, una contribución española para reforzar ese fondo, que también pone en valor el esfuerzo que hace España junto a nuestros socios como Luxemburgo, y está aquí mi colega, el ministro de Asuntos Exteriores y, por supuesto, el CEO de la propia Global Foundation, para luchar contra esas enfermedades, para conseguir un sistema de salud público global y para demostrar que con una inversión suficiente es posible vencer a enfermedades que se consideran endémicas y que, sin embargo, tenemos al alcance de nuestra mano que desaparezcan. I want to really thank the Foundation. I want to really thank our partners like Luxembourg and my colleague Xavier Bettel, the Minister of Foreign Affairs and Development Cooperation, for all the efforts that we do together. Spain has just announced 145 million euros of contribution to fight against AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, to support a global health system, to show that today we have some sickness that we can win over them if we do the right investment. And to say that when we are facing that type of phenomenon, such as the global pandemics, such as AIDS, tuberculosis, malaria, we had COVID, multilateralism is the right answer. There is no other option, no other answer to fight global problems. Today, here in Sevilla, we are together to defend multilateralism, to defend development aid, to defend also alliance between the North and the South, but also, as we are represented here today, alliance between the private sector and the public sector. Together, we can face all those challenges, and together, we can give a better future to millions of people in the world. It's completely unacceptable that today we have people dying from sickness that could have a remedy if we do the right investment. It's completely unacceptable that there are 3,000 million people around the world that live in countries that pay every year more in interest of their debt than in their health sector or in the educational sector. Today, we are here to say that countries such as Luxembourg and Spain, the Global Foundation, we are not going to stop doing what we are doing. We believe in multilateralism, we believe in development aid, and we believe that we can fight effectively and make disappear AIDS, tuberculosis, and malaria, and we will be with the people of those countries that need our support to create their own national health system. And now I give the floor to my colleague Xavier Bettel. Xavier, thank you very much. Merci beaucoup pour être aujourd'hui ici à Sevilla. That shows the commitment of Luxembourg and yourself in this fight against these diseases. Thank you. The floor is to you.
Muchas gracias, José Manuel, y también por la solidaridad de España. Es un ejemplo de... I will continue in English. I'm sorry. I try. So the first thing is, thank you so much for organizing these meetings here. And I really believe that, in fact, multilateralism for the moment is really on different stress test. A lot of populist governments and some governments think that why should we help other people around? Why should we support paludism, AIDS, or tuberculosis in other countries? I'm in charge of foreign affairs, but also as a Minister of Development and before as a Prime Minister. And when I see that it's 1% that we use to help the weakest persons, it's just the fact that I was lucky to be born in a country where I don't have to think if I will have an injection, if I will have education, if I will have food, that I can be a man or woman, I can be gay or straight, I can be a Catholic, a Jewish, a Muslim. I have all the chances on my side. And so to have 1% to support when I see the reductions in most of the countries done today. And so if we do it today with this fund, which is so important because to have the right to have a health condition and to have injections and vaccines seems to be today even more luxury depending where you grew up. And if I do it because I think that these people have the same right of health, the same right to get an adult than we have in our country. But if some populists think it's better to reduce, they should maybe ask the questions, do they want to have back tuberculosis in their own country? Do they want to have a race of AIDS in their own country? Do they want to have maybe once with the climate change, when I see it here, paludism in their own country? So maybe this would be the wording they have to use, that to protect their own population, it's also an invest for them. I don't use that argument because I believe it is because I want to give chances to the less fortunate people that we are. But maybe we should tell them that they put their own population in difficulties with their behavior. If this could be useful to convince them how important it is to be able to support. So you need the passion I have for my job, so I nearly forgot to announce my pledge. But you want to hear that. So 13.8 million for 26 to 28 is the support from Luxembourg, and it's a raise of 18% of the helps we had before. It was always 1%, but we feel that this moment now, where we see that reducing support, and it's difficult. I know we had a meeting last week in NATO. I don't want to choose between weapons and humans. I don't want to have this choice, to have to choose between to support people and to support defense expenses. I think it's important that we don't put one against the other, and that we not forget that if it's 1%, I still have 99% for do other things. We should not forget that. And that in 2025 now, depending, as I started, depending where you get born, makes your chance of education, of health, of rights, if you're a woman, a man, if you're black or white, if you're gay or straight, and etc. Depending on where you get born, it's still a shame. Well, thank you.
I'm Peter Sands. I'm the Executive Director of the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, Tuberculosis and Malaria. And I want to start by thanking Spain and Luxembourg for... People at this conference sometimes wonder, is it just words or is there action? And if you want a demonstrable demonstration of translating the words into action, it is the commitments you have just heard from both Spain and Luxembourg. This is a very practical demonstration of the commitment to multilateralism, of common humanity, of the care for the poorest and most marginalized people in the world. And so my sincere thanks to you both for announcing these pledges. And I would also like to acknowledge Norway, which last week announced that it was sustaining its pledge to the Global Fund as well. Together, the Global Fund to Fight AIDS, TB and Malaria has saved over 65 million lives since it was created in 2002. And today, the combined death rate across HIV, TB and malaria is 63% lower than it was when we started. So progress is possible. We can make a massive difference to people's lives and save people's lives. But we must also not take it for granted. These are formidable adversaries, these diseases. And if we slow down or turn our eyes away, they will come back. And that's why the Global Fund's 8th replenishment, which is taking place in the second half of this year, is so important, and why these announcements today, as early commitments as part of that replenishment, are absolutely vital. Together, we can save another 23 million lives over the next 3 years and bring down even further the infection and death rates across the diseases. HIV, the end of HIV is in sight. It's one of the SDG 3 commitments we could actually turn into a reality. With tuberculosis, I just mentioned Norway. Maybe I should stop and let you speak to Norway. Oh, I'll add you do that. Okay. Norway will have the final word. I was just going to say, HIV, we could actually bring HIV to the end by 2030, which would be an incredible achievement. This is the pandemic that has killed more people than any other pandemic in recent history. Tuberculosis, more people, it's now the biggest infectious disease killer in the world, but more people are being treated and cured of TB than ever before. On malaria, we should be honest, we face a challenge. Climate change, conflict, resistance means that the huge progress we have made on malaria is now flatlining. And malaria is the disease that kills under 5s, pregnant women in the very, very poorest places in the world. This is a disease we know how to prevent. It's a disease we know how to end, and we should do so. And with the commitment and support of Luxembourg, Norway, and Spain, we will do our utmost to do so. Thank you, and very good to see you, sir.
Thank you, my friend, and it's so great to be here. And I'm very pleased to say that the Norwegian pledge for the Global Fund will be for 2 billion Norwegian kroner, which is about $200 million for the next 3 years. This combined with our pledge for Gavi will combined be about $1 billion until 2030. We are living in very dramatic times at the moment, and I think it's in time for the rest of us to really step up for international solidarity and for working together to protect the multilateral cooperation. Therefore, I'm also so pleased to be here at the Finance for Development in Sevilla, which really is showing the world that when we really need it, we can step up. And it was really touching to be a part of the opening where all countries in the world except the US now agreed upon the decision made here in Sevilla. We made our pledge to Gavi and to the Global Fund at the same time, also to send out a very strong message from Norway that we have a very clear expectation for the whole international health architecture to work even better and closer together, because there is a really need for reform of the international development agenda. And that has been a need for a long time, but now it's not only a need, it's completely necessary to reach out to all the people, because there will be there will be a reduction of funding internationally, even though I am proud of being a part of the government that say that we are now stepping up our efforts. Let me also say that I think what is most important is that we are using the fund, and therefore so glad for the agenda of the reform, now of the Global Fund, to build up strong health systems in the countries that we are working in. This aligned with the Lusaka agenda, and we from the Norwegian side will continue to support the Global Fund in this very crucial work to build up stronger health systems all around the world. Let me just lastly say that a very important message from the Norwegian government is also concerning gender, and they also welcome the agenda from the Global Fund. We now see a backlash when it comes to issues related to gender equality and women's and girls' rights. And we know that women and girls are the most vulnerable in war and conflict. So therefore, also on this specific issue, there is a need for the rest of us to really step up, and I'm glad to say that we are here from the Norwegian government, and we look forward to working with the Global Fund and other partners, both in Europe and in the Global South. So thank you so much.
We make a picture?
Do we need a picture?
Should we do it here?
Here?